A sheet of film, thinner than a credit card, pressed onto the inside of your window glass, stops up to 80% of the solar heat pouring through it right now. It blocks 99% of the ultraviolet radiation that is fading your couch and aging your skin. It costs about $5 a window to do yourself. The glass industry's answer to the same problem is a replacement window that runs $700 to $1,000. The film does 70 to 80% of the same work, and nobody selling you windows will ever bring it up. Here's a test you can do right now. Walk to your south-facing or west-facing window at 3 in the afternoon on a summer day. Do not touch the glass. Hold your palm 2 inches away. You feel it. Warmth pushing into your hand before you have made contact. That heat came in as light. Solar radiation passed straight through the glass, hit your floor, your couch, your walls, and converted into heat. Most people do not realize how transparent glass is to sunlight. It lets almost everything through. But here's the problem. Glass lets light in easily. It does not let heat back out. Your living room is a greenhouse. Everything that enters as sunlight leaves as a line on your electric bill. The Department of Energy says windows are responsible for 25 to 30% of residential heating and cooling energy use. 15% of your wall space is doing a third of the damage. And the solution most people are sold is to tear the whole window out and start over. $7,000 to $15,000 for a 10-window house. It can take 20 to 30 years before you break even on the energy savings. There's a faster answer, and it has been sitting in the wrong aisle of your hardware store for decades. A solar control film is a microscopically thin filter made from ceramic or metallic nanoparticles layered onto polyester, thinner than a sheet of paper. You press it onto the inside of the glass with soapy water. It works by selectively bouncing the infrared part of sunlight, the heat, back out through the glass while letting the visible light pass through. The window still looks like a window. You still see your yard. This is not the dark tint you see on car windows. Modern ceramic films are nearly clear. Your neighbors will not know it is there. And if you are thinking this only helps old single-pane glass, it does not. Standard double-pane windows still let 65 to 76% of solar energy through. Film makes a real difference on those too. You just close the door on the invisible heat that was turning every sun-facing room into a sauna. Engineers measure this with something called a solar heat gain coefficient. Basically a number that tells you what percentage of the sun's energy is getting through your glass. Untreated clear glass sits around 0.70 to 0.86. That means 70 to 86% of the sun's energy is getting inside. Film drops that to 0.25 to 0.40. More than half the heat stopped at the glass. No construction, no frame removal, no crew in your house for 3 days. And the film does something else nobody talks about when they are trying to sell you new windows. It blocks 99% of ultraviolet radiation, both UVA and UVB. The Skin Cancer Foundation gives its seal of recommendation to window films, the same seal they give to sunscreen. And here's why that matters more than most people realize. Standard residential glass blocks most UVB rays, the ones that cause sunburn, but more than 50% of UVA rays pass right through. UVA penetrates deeper into the skin, it drives premature aging, and it is linked to melanoma. A paper in the New England Journal of Medicine documented a 69-year-old truck driver whose left side of his face was deeply aged and damaged from 28 years of UVA exposure through the driver's side window. The right side looked decades younger. Same person, same face. The only difference was which side faced the glass. In the United States, melanoma and non-melanoma, skin cancers are more common on the left side of the body, the driver's side. That pattern is not a coincidence. If you sit near a window at home or at work for a few hours a day, you are getting a dose of UVA through that glass that adds up. The film stops 99% of it. It is not a sunscreen you reapply every 2 hours. It is a one-time installation that lasts 15 to 20 years. Then there is the fading. UV radiation is responsible for about 40% of furniture and flooring damage from sunlight. Visible light causes another 25%. Heat causes another 25%. Film addresses all three. Your hardwood floors near the window, the couch that gets the afternoon sun, the art on the wall that is slowly losing its color. That damage is happening right now, every sunny day, and you are paying for it in replacement costs you never connect back to the glass. That is the health side and the property side. Now let me put some numbers on the energy side, because this is where the gap between film and the expensive option stops being interesting and starts being a little hard to believe. A study by the energy consulting firm Consol, conducted for the International Window Film Association, tested film performance across 4 Florida climate zones: Miami, West Palm Beach, Tampa, and Jacksonville. They used the same Department of Energy approved software that Florida uses for building energy code compliance. The results? Film cuts cooling costs by up to 30%. But that is not the headline. Here is the headline. Film was 2 to 4 times more cost-effective at saving energy than upgrading ceiling insulation from R30 to R38. It was 8 to 15 times more cost-effective than reducing air infiltration in the home. It was 3 times more cost-effective than replacing the air conditioner. Every other common energy retrofit, including insulation, ceiling, and equipment upgrades, lost to a sheet of film on the glass. That is not a laboratory estimate. That is measured cost-effectiveness using the same software your state uses to check building code compliance. Then there's the federal government's own test. The GSA Green Proving Ground program evaluated solar control film at the Goodfellow Federal Center in St. Louis. Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory ran the analysis. Reflective films that filter specific wavelengths cut heating, ventilation, and air conditioning energy by up to 29% in warm climate buildings. It was published on a government website, and it is available to anyone who looks. The Department of Energy has called window film one of the most cost-effective building retrofits available, with payback periods as short as 3 years. That number stopped me. 3 years. A replacement window takes 20 to 30 years to pay back. Film does it in 3. Here's the math on what this costs you versus the alternative. Do it yourself. Solar control film runs $1 to $5 per square foot. A standard 15 square foot window costs about $5 to $30, depending on the film quality. A 10 window house costs $50 to $300. Professional installation runs $5 to $15 per square foot, more, but still a fraction of the alternative. Window replacement, the national average is $650 to $1,000 per window installed. A 10 window house costs $7,000 to $15,000. The Department of Energy says low E replacement windows reduce energy loss by 30 to 50%. Film delivers 20 to 30% cooling savings, 70% of the result for roughly 5% of the cost. And here's a savings most people never think about. When your cooling load drops by 30%, your air conditioning compressor runs shorter cycles. It works less hard, it lasts longer. And when it finally does need replacing, a lower heat load means you can potentially size down to a smaller unit. That could be a $500 to $1,000 difference at the point of sale, plus lower electricity cost every month after. Contractors size heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems based on peak cooling load. Film reduces peak cooling load. That is not just a lower energy bill, it is a cheaper system the next time you replace one. Good quality film lasts 15 to 20 years. Some installations have held for 25 years. It is not a temporary fix. It is a permanent upgrade to your glass that the industry does not count because it does not come in a frame. Now, a few things worth being honest about. The comments on every window video I have done ask the same question, and it deserves a real answer. What about winter? A standard solar control film blocks solar heat year-round. In summer, That is exactly what you want. In winter, it also blocks some of the free heat you would get from the sun shining through south-facing glass. The Department of Energy says it directly. Solar control films work best in climates with long cooling seasons. If you live in Phoenix or Houston or Miami, this is straightforward. Film every window and start saving. If you live in Chicago or Minneapolis or Boston, you have two options. First, film only your west-facing and east-facing windows. Those get punishing sun in summer, but contribute almost nothing useful in winter because the sun angle is too low and the exposure is wrong. Your south-facing windows are the ones collecting free winter heat. Leave those alone. Second, use a low E film instead of a solar control film. Low E films have a microscopically thin metallic coating that reflects radiant heat back toward whichever side is warmer. In winter, they bounce your indoor heat back into the room instead of letting it leak through the glass. In summer, they reflect solar heat back out. These films reduce winter heat loss by 30 to 50% and still cut summer cooling costs. 3M makes one that takes single pane glass to near double pane performance and double pane to near triple pane. Year-round film for year-round climates. In January, the glass is warmer to the touch. The cold zone near the window that made your couch feel drafty is gone. Your furnace runs less. Same film. The point is, this is not one product. It is a category. The right film depends on where you live and which direction your windows face. That nuance is the reason a quick internet search does not get you all the way there, and the reason most people never start. A few more things worth knowing. Film does not fix a broken seal or a rotted frame. If your double pane windows are fogged between the panes, that is a failed seal. A structural problem film cannot touch. If the frame is drafty, the frame is the issue. Film works best on structurally sound windows that just let in too much heat. Some films can cause thermal stress on certain glass types. Double pane windows with existing tints or coatings can crack if you add the wrong film. Check the manufacturer's glass compatibility guide before you buy. This is not a reason to skip it. It is a reason to spend 5 minutes reading the label. If you do not like the result, film can be removed with a heat gun and a razor blade. It is not permanent in the way new glass is. You can change your mind, and if you rent, this still works. The film peels off when you move. You get the savings while you are there, and leave the glass the way you found it. Some HOA rules restrict visible tinting. Most modern ceramic films are nearly invisible. Your neighbors will not notice, but check before you install. This is not a silver bullet. It is the piece most houses are missing. So here's what doing this actually looks like. You buy a roll of film, cut it an inch larger than the glass on each side, fill a spray bottle with water and a few drops of dish soap, spray the window, peel the backing off the film, lay it on the wet glass. Take a squeegee or a credit card wrapped in a cloth and push from the center outward. Air bubbles and water slide to the edges. Trim the excess with a utility knife. 20 minutes per window. The film cures over a few days. It might look slightly hazy at first, then it clears. The next sunny afternoon, walk back to that window. Hold your palm 2 inches from the glass again. The heat that was pushing into your hand yesterday is gone. The light is still there. The view is the same. Your screen is readable without squinting. The glare that used to wash out your laptop every afternoon is cut in half. You are looking through the same window at the same yard, but the invisible furnace that was running behind it all summer just shut off. Your AC does not know what changed. It just stopped cycling so hard. That is the moment it clicks. Not a number on a chart, not a percent from a study. The absence of the warm zone you have felt every summer and never knew had a name. Nobody buried this. The film is on Amazon. It is at the hardware store. But a window replacement runs $700 to $1,000 per window, and a whole house project is $7,000 to $15,000. The contractor who tells you about a $5 film just eliminated the reason you called. The installer who recommends film does not get the $10,000 job. And there is a subtler problem. Building codes, energy programs, tax credits are all structured around the window as a product. U factor and SHGC ratings are stamped on the unit itself. Film is a retrofit that changes the performance of existing glass, but does not change the label. There is no Energy Star rating for old Window Plus film. The system measures products, not solutions. The solution that costs a fraction and delivers most of the performance does not fit the spreadsheet. The incentives are not aligned against you. They are just not aligned toward you. Your windows are the weakest surface in your house. They cover 15% of your walls, and they are responsible for a third of your energy cost. And the cheapest, fastest fix for them is not new glass. It is a film that costs $5 per window, installs in 20 minutes, lasts 15 to 20 years, stops 80% of the heat, blocks 99% of UV, cuts the glare, protects your furniture, and extends the life of your AC. And it has been sitting in the wrong aisle of your hardware store with no sign on it that says what it actually does. If that is the kind of thing worth knowing, subscribe. And if you have done this, if you have put film on your windows and measured the difference, drop it in the comments. It helps me figure out what to cover next. There is more coming.